What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're going to be checking out the Slidecatch by Imperial Watch Company. The Slidecatch is a brand new product from them that released on their website today for $69. I'll be sure to leave a link to where you can find one down in the description of the video. Available in a couple different colors, so you have the gray or black titanium body and then different color slides as well. And I was able to get early access to this one. However, I did pay full price for it. I just thought it was an interesting tool. I have a lot of watches and this is very much a purpose-built tool made for watches, but at the same time, it's a very viable EDC bit driver as well if you're just looking for a compact bit driver with a really sleek design and overall just very functional. You take standard 4mm bits, so you can buy replacement bits outside of the 4 that are included with it as well. So I mentioned it being compact. The body of this is about 2.5 inches long by about 0.8 inches wide, and then around 1/3 of an inch in terms of thickness. That titanium keeps it ultra lightweight as well at about 1.26 ounces, so you really won't notice this in your pocket. Has that really nice deep carry pocket clip as well. Now it comes with 4 bits. 2 or more your EDC bits and 2 are very watch centric. And so the ones that I have in there are more EDC driven. So we have our flathead as well as our Phillips in the storage. And so the storage over here is really nice, secured in there with a magnet. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get bits out of these type of storage, but they did a really nice job with it. You can just slide it out to the side here and you can see one side is a little bit lower in there, and that's so that when you push on that tip, it raises the back end enough so that you can just slide it out without having to get behind it and making sure you have the right grip in order to get it out of there. And so just a really well thought out storage position. Obviously our slide is really nice. It has that lockout here with this sort of liner lock style lock. That's very consistent. I've never pushed it to the front and had it not lock up, so you can use that bit without worrying about it sliding back on you, obviously for that inline bit driver here. And then you can disengage that lock pretty easily from either side, and once you do, it snaps into place at the bottom with a detent there. So in order to break that detent, you do need a little bit of pressure, but once you do, very fidgety, it slides very smoothly, really nice, and pretty easy to deploy right out to the front there, and your bit's already ready to go with whichever one you stored inside of it. Again, we have that storage on the side as well. One kind of neat feature is that we also have a bit driver over here that can also fit those 4mm bits with the magnet in the back. So if the position of the screw is a little bit of a weird screw, you can get into those tighter positions. If you need just a little bit more leverage, it's going to be a lot easier to get that leverage in this position, that 90-degree angle, than it is with the inline bit driver where you just kind of have that twist of your wrist. Now that square shape does make it a little bit easier to get a little bit of torque on there, and so you can turn it with a little bit more tension there than you would be able to on a round one, but it's still not going to be nearly as much as what you get with this 90-degree angle. So really nice that that's included as well. Now I mentioned that we have our EDC centric tools, our flathead and our Phillips, but we also get some very unique ones that I've never seen before anywhere else. So these are things that you get with the tool, and so really cool that these are included. So up first we have our watch fork tip, and hopefully that's picking up and you can see that, but this is for changing out those bands. And so basically on the back of your watches, a lot of times you'll have these spring bars that require a little bit of tension to get them off. They're obviously springy, and so you can use other tools, but if you're not using a specialized tool, there's a chance you slip off and damage the watch. And so these are very specialized to be able to catch on those different layers and be able to manipulate that spring bar very easily without worrying about sliding off and damaging your watch. And so just a nice tool to have. They sell these as standalones. Sometimes you even get like these disposable ones that come with your bands, and so that's kind of nice too. But it is nice to have that specialized tool, especially if you're someone who's changing them a lot. Maybe you're going on vacation, taking a couple different bands to swap out with the same watch, and so you can kind of use that watch for multiple different kind of occasions with different bands. And so really nice tool. The other nice tool that I find I use a little bit less often but still very helpful when you need it is the watch push pin. And so this is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a straight push pin for removing links on your watches. A lot of those metal bands are going to have multiple links that you can remove with this push pin. Occasionally it will be a small flathead, which actually is probably a little bit smaller than the flathead included here even. But for the most part, majority of those are going to be push pins, and you can just push those out. Now this one has that flat back, so you should be able to get a decent bit of pressure behind it to push those out, especially if you have the block to set it on. But if not, you can whack it with that plastic head on those hammers and not worry about damaging the tool, since this is a titanium build there. And so it makes it easy to swap out those bands or remove those links specifically. Maybe you need to add some on as well, but it makes it really easy to do that with the push pin tool. And again, I mentioned that these are 4mm bits. You can use other 4mm bits. It only includes the 4 that I mentioned, the flathead, the Phillips, the fork, and the push pin. But if you have other micro bit drivers that use standard 4mm bits, you can easily swap those out. As you can see, if you need a Torx bit, we can put that in there, and then you can store an additional Torx bit, maybe a larger size, on the side. You can obviously use those in the side position as well. So it just gives you a lot of modularity with this tool. So like I said, even if you're not into watches, this may be just kind of the perfect form factor. It's so small, at only about 2.5 inches by 0.8 inches wide, that it's going to make a really nice micro bit driver that's smaller than most of what you're going to find out there for a micro bit driver. Even something like this, you can see with our pry bar, we have the bit driver on the end, but this is way larger than our micro bit driver that we get here. And so that nice compact form factor is a really nice thing with this. Obviously, really sleek build. They look great, available in 2 different color bodies and multiple color slides as well. And maybe we'll even see more of those in the future, different colors and different kind of finishes on these. But just right out the gate, some really nice looking finishes. Let me know what you think of this tool down in the comments below. Again, I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to pick one up for yourself. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or checking out some other content. All helps the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.